So this is obviously my Clio 197. I've had it for, well, it's actually almost 2 months, but I'm just going to put in the title 1 month review. I like to do it at 1 month, 6 months, and then a year. And I think I'll be keeping this car for that long. Finally, I've found a car that I want to keep. There's 4 main points in this video. That's fuel, because for me that's a massive thing. When I had my BMW 335i, the fuel crippled me, so my fear was to not get a car that bad. So we got fuel, handling, performance and comfort. I think that's a good 4 categories. So yeah, hopefully you enjoy. If you do, leave a like and subscribe, comment your thoughts, any suggestions, and let's just get on with the 1 month review of my 197. So fuel, I don't drive too far, and I do like to let it rev, let's just put it that way. I think the car sounds good. So efficiency wise, I don't drive very efficient. I get around 250 to 300 miles on a tank. That is, I think the tanks are from 70 to 80 quid. Where I am, it's like 140 a litre. Very technical stuff. Obviously this is a 2 litre 200 horsepower car, 6 speed, all of that. I don't like, if I'm driving far, I have it in 6th, even though it kind of, when doing 70 it sits at 4,000 revs, so it's not the most efficient car. But I think for a 2 litre to get, call it 250 to a tank, that is pretty good. Obviously 70 quid, I do it probably every couple of weeks if I'm lucky. I think that's alright. That's on par with my Fiesta, and that was a 1 litre turbo. This is a 2 litre NA, so this should be a lot worse. Doesn't actually feel that worse. I'm happy with it, and I would argue it's an economical car. Category number 2, handling. So this is obviously a Renault Sport. They're known for how they handle. They're not the quickest thing in a straight line, but obviously you can hold the speed through the corners. I have done a driving video, and I have obviously taken it on country roads myself. I'm happy to report, as a standard car, no spacers, no springs, no shocks, just as the car comes from standard on 102,000 miles. I'm happy to report I've never driven a car that handles like this. It is so cliche, but it is on rails. It is literally like a go-kart, and I know people throw that term around so often. I just have full faith in this car that whatever I throw at it on a country road, it will not only eat it up, but it will enjoy it and almost push me to do more. The handling wise, it is spot on, and that ties in nicely to performance wise. So as I said, it is a 2 litre naturally aspirated 197 horsepower, so 200 horsepower. It's not the slowest thing in the world. It's definitely not the quickest car I've ever owned, but the thing is with this, as I said, it's not about the speed, it's about you holding the same speed through the corners. This is never going to beat something like on a rolling race. Well, actually, I kept up with a Golf Mark 5 R32, which I say kept up. I think I was a little bit quicker, up to 70, of course. So it's not the most like slow. Obviously, like Audi S3s and stuff, you're never going to keep up with them. But in this kind of category, this car is spot on. And if I ever take it on track, I have no doubts that it will dominate anything and everything. Like, these cars are more than capable, and performance and handling do go well together. I think it's got the right amount of power for the size, the weight, and it handles the power perfectly. So I think this car, obviously Renault back in the day, they knew what they were doing, and I think they did so well on this car. Category number 4 is comfort. So these cars do come with optional extra Recaro CS seats. My car doesn't have that, unfortunately. I am looking at getting a pair, but they are like £700 each. These are just the standard seats. Obviously, as I said, this car is on 102,000 miles. It is quite worn. It is hard to find one that isn't worn, although it's actually not the end of the world. This one isn't too bad. So if we hop in it, it is quite a comfortable seat. As I said, it is quite worn, but the side bolsters still hold me in well. And I've driven, I think the longest journey I've done in this is like an hour or so. I didn't really get a back pain, and you can actually adjust how the back comes in and out, which does help if you have got a bad back. Steering wheel and pedals, I think they're in the perfect place. It is, my seat is all the way down, but it still sits quite high, and I think where the steering wheel is just about perfect. It keeps you engaged, it keeps you on your toes. Gear stick, obviously, as I said, 102,000 miles, but this is so smooth. It just feels so nice. And this is like not a dog, but this isn't a great example compared to like a lower mileage one. So from my personal experience, I mean, I've had 8 cars now. I've almost made that my personality trait, but what my point is, I would rank this #1 out of all the cars I've owned. I've wanted one for so long and I was a bit scared, like, don't meet your heroes kind of thing. I'm so glad I have one. I just think for value for money, there's not much you can do that is better than a 197. I don't know if that makes sense. Hopefully you've enjoyed. If you have, leave a like and subscribe. Comment any suggestions, your thoughts, any improvements, and hopefully I'll see you again. Cheers.